Hello there, this is Debbie Heiser, and I am so stinking excited to share this new season 4 with you. And I can't believe that this is already the 4th season of Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. And I just want to thank each of you who listen. And my hope is that the tools, the thoughts and experiences I share, as well as the work I've done to love myself, love others, and love the work I'm called to do, that also helps me lead a truly lit up life, will help you move into a more lit up life yourself. A few things to look for in this season. Super excited to share that we're going to be coming to you now every week with episodes jam-packed with information to serve you. Every other week, you'll hear from a guest who's leading a life that they love, and I'll be asking them to share their stories, how they got there, and any thoughts or advice that they can give you, our loyal listeners. We have new music too, and I'm so thrilled to introduce this song called Ride, sung and co-written by my friend, Miss Jackie Wilson. And she, along with her collaborators, Tyler Banks, David DJ Lee, and Chris Renee, are super talented and generous, as this song fits perfectly into the thought of stepping into your best life. To follow any or all of these talented folks, check out the show notes for their social handles. Thanks again for listening. Enjoy season 4 and do us a solid and leave us a rating and a comment to help us be able to share more with people across the globe. Now, let's get started with this episode.
You're the only one who really can transform your mind.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Lead Your Lit Up Life with Debbie Heiser. My name is Debbie Heiser, and let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what's important to them. I've seen way too many people be in business, and the business is running their lives versus you running the business to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do to achieve those hopes, wishes, and dreams that you have in your life. And so I am excited to bring this next episode to you. We're going to talk about creativity and flow and how that helps you as a leader, how that helps you in your business. And I want to ask the question, when's the last time you've been creative? I know for me, it's been a little while. And as a matter of fact, I was teasing with a coworker outside my door right before taping this about how I was a little grumpy today. And part of it's because I'm doing a detox and was trying to stay off of coffee, and just physically my body not feeling the best, and realizing that in that case, that's some of the times when I need to be creative, when I need to get out of my head. And so when we think about creativity, I want to ask you, when's the last time you've been creative? And many of you might scoff and go, why do I have to get creative? Well, let me tell you, I think that innovation, the word innovation, it's used a lot, and we as business people have to be innovative all the time. And that's just a grown-up word for creativity. So when was the last time you did something creative? And I'm going to ask you, think about, what is it that you like to do? I know for me, I like to paint. I'm not great at it, nor would I sell it, and sometimes I paint over what I painted, but I love to paint. I love hanging out with my friend Nicole, who has this childlike tendency, and we do all these crafty kind of cool things together. We've done vision boards together. She always makes me these cute, she even painted a little matchbox for me with a mermaid on it, and it just touched my heart. And so find somebody in your life too that you feel like you can be creative with. I've painted rocks before, and I love hanging out with kids. If you find some kids in your life, if you know some people that have kids, ask them if you can babysit and go be creative with them. Girls love to paint rocks, and you just get some acrylic paint and you paint away. And I have a friend, Jenny, who has these 3 beautiful girls, and it's been a few years since they've been at my house, but we spent all afternoon painting rocks, going and collecting the rocks, painting them, all sorts of different colors. I know up here in North Idaho, there's been times I've been hiking where people have actually painted rocks with affirmations on them and set them on different trails for people to see and to pick up. And so when I think about being in business and what it takes to be a business person, every day there are multiple decisions that have to be made. There are multiple areas where we're needing to think about doing things differently. And particularly, let's talk about COVID here for a minute. Let's talk about this pandemic. I know it was funny. I was listening to a Rachel Hollis podcast, and she was saying that she's used to pivoting once or twice a year, maybe, but that it was like 10 to 16 times she pivoted during the year, and how there is a sense of, there's a level of exhaustion that comes with that too when you pivot a lot. And that is more reactionary creativity. Don't get me wrong, it's important to be able to be creative in the moment, be innovative in the moment, figure out a different way to do something, to turn a corner. But what I'm also talking about is tapping into that child heart. And if you missed that episode about the 4 people in your head, I highly recommend that you go back and listen to it. But this little girl that's inside of us that desires connection, which is what I talked about last time, desires to be creative, to express herself or himself, depending on if you associate with the gender. And when you think about that ability to express who you really are, there's a great song on, oh gosh, I can't even think of the musical right now, but it's This Is Me. And it's a song about how this is who I am. And I've gotten to that point in my life where I'm like, this is just who I am. And I mean, I'm kind, I'm generous to people. I try not to be mean to people. I'm sure there's times that I might say something and inadvertently not realize that it might be hitting someone the wrong way. But ultimately, it's about feeling really solid in who I am, so that I can show up in the full expression of who I am. And that full expression of who I am is to help other people tap into their creativity, to heal. There's so much healing that needs to take place. And as leaders, it's so important for us to heal so that we can help other people heal as well. When I think about being a leader and being creative and trying to come up with new and exciting ways to do things, it's about, sometimes I have to physically move out of my office. I have to go, there's a little local coffee shop here, shout out to Evans Brothers, that I love to go to and be creative. It allows me to have energy from other people around, but also allows me to be in a space that feels creative. They have artwork hanging all over the wall. You see my artwork behind me. I have another painting across the way. And it's about like surrounding yourself with, for me, it's surrounding myself with beauty. And I'm working on, from an environment's perspective, surrounding myself with tidiness. And what I mean by tidiness is not that I'm messy, but not having a lot of clutter, because your external environment really displays a lot of your internal environment. And so even if you were at my house, I have pictures up everywhere, I have paintings, and a lot of them are either times that has touched my heart, or I've purchased something. I went to the Coeur d'Alene powwow one time, and I love hummingbirds. And there was this native Northwestern artwork that had 4 hummingbirds on it, and it's displayed proudly as you walk up my stairs. I have a painting that a good friend of mine painted, one of the sunsets that I take pictures of, and it's hanging above my mantle. I have one that my good friend Georgia created for the Heart Ball, or no, that one wasn't the Heart Ball, it was a different donation area. The painting across from me was a donation for mental health during 2020 it was a local artist that my friend Diana, who I have the painting above my mantle, was doing a fundraiser for mental health awareness. And so for me, being creative means I need to surround myself with creativity. I love color. I love vibrant colors, but I love darker, like the colors behind me. And so there's this environment that sometimes I need to put myself into to be creative. I know that for me, I need to be around other people to have energy. So when I'm in the mode where I'm creating content, I'm writing articles, I'm writing blogs, I'm writing, just finished a chapter with some of my colleagues on servant leadership and soft listening. When I'm doing that type of work, I need to be around energy. So I can get a lot of that kind of work done actually in airports, which is interesting. Not so much an airplane. I feel a little cramped there. my style's a little cramped, can't spread out. But my house, I don't feel as creative in my house. And I think some of that is because it's typically used for a different space. I did sit down the other day for the first time in a long time and tried to tap back into my creativity with my music. And I've played the piano since I was 5. I competed nationally when I was in high school and was going to major in piano and decided I liked people too much to sit in front of a piano for 8 hours a day. But I am going to give a concert. So I'm making that known publicly now here in Sandpoint. But it's going to be a little bit different type of concert that I'm going to give. But I do plan on doing that. And so I've been picking up playing a little bit more recently, and it just feels good to allow myself to kind of open up and allow what I call flow to happen. So when I'm being creative, I'm being open. I'm being open to what, for me, God, some of you will use the word universe, whatever it is for you, please use that word. But for me, like allowing God to speak into me and being able to express that in a creative way. And sometimes it ends up being something that looks like something, and other times it's just a bunch of paint on a canvas. But it allows me that expression, that creative expression. What also allows me creative expression, and so thank you to all of you for listening, is doing this podcast and being able to talk about some of the concepts and some of the teachings that I've learned throughout the years that has helped me lead a lit up life. There are things, every life has life. There are things that don't go as planned. There are things that are tragic, and there is loss, and there are things that occur, but being able to step in and know that I'm using my superpower, which is choice, and choosing to lead a lit up life and lead a life that I enjoy. And it doesn't mean that I don't have to sit down sometimes, and my accountants will laugh if they hear this, and do some of those things I have to do in QuickBooks, or, do some of those things as a business owner that require me to do them. I hire out people to help me all the time because I want to stay in my lane of genius. But sometimes there are things that we need to do. Do I love doing the dishes every day? No. Do I love doing laundry every day? No. However, I choose to do it because I want clean clothes to wear, and I want clean dishes, and I want a clean house. And so, so think about the things too for you that get in the way of you being able to feel like you can be creative. So for instance, do you feel like when you come home, like you've been working all day, you've been doing things in your life, you come home and you may have children and a spouse and making dinner and doing some of those things? I created a space then for me to be really creative in cooking. And that was something I really loved. I took this little magazine that Martha Stewart used to do. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was a phenomenal little magazine with all these fantastic recipes in it. And I would get really creative then in cooking. And that was an outlet for me for creativity. But you come home and you have other things to do. It's almost like you put on another hat and have a second job to do. And if you're a single parent, God bless you, because that's even harder. And so sometimes it feels like we don't have time to be creative, but look for different ways to be creative, whether it be doing a podcast, whether it be playing music, whether it be turning music on and having a dance party with your kids while you're making dinner together. Combine some of that and create some fun and creativity as you go about even day-to-day things. I know I even try to get creative when I'm traveling or I'm at a networking event and I'm meeting new people. I try to think of a different approach to start out a conversation with. And some of you are going to roll your eyes and think that's lame, but it allows me, because I know no stranger, I love to talk to people. It allows me an ability also to express myself fully in that way as well. So going back to a previous podcast, I talked about really getting to know who you are. And so sometimes it's a matter of doing something different and trying it out, right? Like I've always wanted to learn to play the guitar. So one of these days I'm going to go take a guitar lesson and learn how to play the guitar. It may or may not be for me. I don't know. And I won't know until I try it. So if you've had a niggling, if you've had a wiggle somewhere in you that has said, oh, wouldn't it be cool to paint? But then you've stopped yourself because your critical parent comes out and says, oh, it won't be a product that you would be proud enough to hang on the wall. Set the critical parent down and just go create. If you want to sing a song, if you want to write a poem, whatever it is, creative expression, even in the clothing that you wear. I know I've been working on looking at my wardrobe and is it really congruent with who I am? And, there's some pieces that are functional and then other pieces that are whimsical. And, but it's just about seeing the creativity in everything. I know for me too, I see creativity in nature and I love to take photos. And so when I hike, I do love that the iPhone now has such a great camera on their phone. So I don't lug along my big camera, but really just try to see the creativity. When I drive to work, or the other day, literally there were 12 eagles outside my house. There were 6 of them in a tree and another 5 or 6 flying around. So there must have been some birds in the lake there. But find yourself, well, stop yourself and find the creativity, find the beauty that's around you. Because when you spot the beauty and identify the beauty, then the creativity starts to come in more because we've paused and we've identified what's beautiful in our lives, whether that be day-to-day things, or for me, driving across the bridge that I drive across every day to work and seeing the beauty that I live in allows then for me to also tap in. Now, when I drive across and I don't see that beauty, or I'm in a rush and I'm constantly on the go, that's then when the shades come over my eyes and I don't see the beauty, and therefore then I don't tap into my creativity. So I know I didn't give you a ton of practical tips, but here's what I will tell you: to start out, start small. Go buy some finger paints at Walmart. Pull out some old needlepoint you used to do. Or if you're like me, my hobby for a while was collecting crap for hobbies. And so I have a ton of scrapbooking things. And so pulling some of that out and doing some of that work, it's playing an instrument, singing a song, whatever it is, taking a photo. And creativity can also be about helping your children be creative or your grandchildren be creative. And so I just would highly recommend to you and have you think about ways that you can be creative and try to live out some of that creativity at least every week, if not every day. And with that, thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to talk more about how to work with me to help your business and lead your business so that your business doesn't lead your life, so that you can go out and have some creative time, so that you can go out and do some things for yourself, please call me. And keep in mind that you're creative all the time in your business. And with that, it's a wrap. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Have a fantastic day.